There is no standard for bringing life into this world. There is absolutely no standard for bringing life into this world. Now, as I mentioned in a couple of videos, I like true crime. I think the psychology of it is interesting, and I'm always curious to know why human beings do the things they do, and make the decisions they make. And one of the cases, and again, I made a video about this case already. One of the cases I'm watching is the Madeline Soto case, little 13-year-old girl in Florida who unfortunately was ended by her stepdad. Okay, trying to play the YouTube game and use euphemisms for what all we all know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've been watching that case, and my interest in that drops in, drops out. It's kind of rough to see and to know that this little girl went through that. But my interest in it picked up again, and I was watching this channel called Grizzly True Crime. It's a great channel. You should look at it. The lady who runs it is really good, and she's got information on everything. It's the journalism is better than network news, way better. I guess that's not hard to be at this point. But one of the videos she's talking to Madeline Soto's father. And apparently Madeline Soto lived in Florida, and this guy lived in Texas. And my cat's biting my leg. Just cuz. And he's, talking about, oh, this is sad, and I don't know what to think, and all this, and of course expressing the sadness and regret that any father, any parent period would have regarding their child's life coming to an end this way. But what struck me as interesting was he had never met Stephen Stearns. Now, what I don't understand is how you as a father, as a parent, are aware that there is a man around your little girl whom you have never met, and you're just cool with it. A couple states away. Just cool with it. Just, I trust, it's fine. Right? How could you as a man, as a father, not want to meet this person, especially as your little girl gets older and starts to develop? We all know what I'm alluding to. Right? If this happened to my kid, I wouldn't give a shit if I was living in Timbuktu. I'm coming to see him. I'm coming to meet him. I'm shaking his hand, and I want to look him dead in his eyes, and I want to feel his energy and let him know I'm just a phone call away. And I am a big fan of the Second Amendment. Don't let me hear any kind of mess. Right? So it just begs the question, generally, why are we so careless with life? Why are we so careless with children? I have a theory that this guy lived in Texas because Jennifer Soto was said to be bipolar and kind of a chaotic person and a drama queen and can't keep a job, and the whole rundown of a low life ass bitch, right? Okay. He wasn't in the state probably because he didn't want to deal with her. But here's the issue. You chose to create a child with her. I think we all know where babies come from. So you chose to create a child from her, found out she was drama, and then you went to Texas. Now, could I prove that in a court of law? No, but I'm an excellent judge of character, and I read situations extremely well. I don't have that many things I could slap myself on the back for, but if I could, those would be the things. I haven't met too many people that can look at a situation and dissect it mentally and figure it out the way I can. I haven't met too many people who can do that at the speed with which I can do that. So you're running away from this woman because she's a problem. Again, a problem you chose to impregnate. Again, a problem you chose to impregnate and then allowed that problem to raise your child, the child you produced, right? So you're doing all that, and now you're on TV crying. When are we going to have a universal standard for the circumstances in which a child can be born. When are we going to have that? If I want to fly internationally, guess what I got to get? A passport. If I want to drive my vehicle, guess what I have to have? A license. If I want to vote, I got to show up with an ID of some kind so they can verify who I am. If I want to go to college, I got to have the right grades. If I want a job, I gotta pass the background check and provide a resume and make myself stand out. Everything I just mentioned has a standard. And the most important thing in life, perhaps the singular goal of life, which is to replicate life and duplicate life and propagate the species, that comes with no standard. I could be a drunk, drugging, robbing, pillaging, no job having, on public assistance, violent, whatever, and I could go out today and try to have a kid. And nobody's gonna stop me. Who would stop me? There are no laws saying you even have to be a good person to have a kid. There are no laws saying that you have to be able to keep a job to have a kid. There are no laws saying that you have to not be a drunk to have a kid. There are no laws saying that you have to be smart about vetting the people you bring around your children. There are no laws around that because nobody gives a fuck about children. Because if we did, we would run our society differently. Madeline Soto should be in jail. Or excuse me, Jennifer Soto, forgive me, should be in jail. There is not a mother in this world who doesn't know what's happening. Or if I'll give her this, or know that something's up. Why is this full-grown man that has no blood ties to your daughter this interested in your daughter, talking about she's snuggling in her nest? Oh, we sleep together, but that's just what we do. What type of mom thinks any of that is correct? Why do we care so little about children? Do we want to produce broken people so we can keep selling them things? Is that the reason? Or is it that happy, adjusted, people who grow up in a supportive home where they had two parents, or one parent that was great? Is it that people like that are produced by those homes where there's balance and, not everything's perfect, but for the most part it's good? Is it that those people go on to be critical thinkers and they challenge the system because they have a sense of self and a sense of their own worth, and they've been raised with logic and love, and they know how to be both empathetic and practical and not see issues in black and white, but instead have the emotional maturity and intellectual nuance to see things in a multifaceted way? Is it that we don't want to produce too many people like that because we got a lot of ruling parties and oligarchs and shit like that love us sick, dumb, fat, poor, and broken? Then they can sell us a dream that most of us can't even fucking afford. Why is there no standard for having children? And the whole thing with CPS and child, other DCFS, whatever all the little names are, their whole thing is to fucking shut the barn after the horse is already bolted. They get calls about abuse. They don't step up and check in before the abuse happens. If there are signs and symptoms, that means the abuse is happening. Also, the teachers, the mandated reporters, when you see a change in a child, a very distinct change in a child, don't you have, as a teacher, as a community leader, don't you have some sort of obligation to ask follow-up questions and try to figure out, why is this little girl acting different? What is making this once very open, happy little girl start to act different? What is the reason? Everybody in this little girl's life failed her, including her father. Okay, I know I said it, but you better go shake the hand of the man living with your daughter. And you got to make your presence known. And here's what trips me out, because again, he said he'd never met the guy, right? Oh, I never met him. Okay, never. Okay, so how often did you visit your child? Because apparently this man, Stephen Stearns, was slash is a degenerate bum and didn't have his own place to stay. And so what he did is he bounced between his father and mother's house and Jennifer Soto's house and was there rather frequently, and they had been dating on and on for 7 to 8 years. So you mean to tell me you never ran into this man? You never just were going to visit your little girl, as you should, and you didn't run into this guy and think, oh, perfect opportunity. Hi, let's talk. I'll be down here frequently. I'll be down here and I'm not going to call ahead. I just want you to know I love my daughter dearly, and there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do for her. We have failed children en masse.